Good morning and welcome to the final day here at Calgary Rugby Park, the 2014 National Festival of Rugby wrapping up today. And on Field 1, we're featuring all the big cup final games here. And the first one on tap, it's going to be a dandy in the under-16 division. Actually, it's a third-place game. Sorry about that. This is a third-place game, and then all the other ones will be cup final games. Team Ontario taking on BCII. And taking a quick look at the lineups here in Ontario. Lineup in the front row: Colton Bates, Kobe Welch, and Will Chandler, Aidan Foley and Jeremy Gamm in the second row, and Owen Rattan, Jack McRogers, and Devon DeGuerra at the number 8 spot. Matt Yee is the scrum half with Owen Schimple at fly half. Ethan Hager, we've talked a lot about him, and Josh Ince are in the centers, and Tate Ruse on one wing, Miguel Palgi on the other, and Avery Oideman is at fullback. We'll give you your replacements as they come on. Spencer Cooper, Rafael Espejo, and Carter White in the front row for BC2. Callum Masterton and Carl Madison in the second row. Matt Francoeur and Nate Bice working with Reese Daniels at number 8 in the back row flank spots there. Jonas Robinson is the scrum half. Nicky Moray, the fly half. John Jubenville, Matt Fraser in the centers. Connor Clark on one wing. Seth Purdy on the other. Brandon Schellenberger is your scrum half. Rose Lebrecht will be doing the whistling. We've seen these teams play already a couple of times. They've been good games. BC2 had a bit of a hard game against Ontario the other day. Started piling up on them a little bit. Let's see if they can rebound a bit. Ontario wearing red, playing left to right on your field. BC in all blue, playing from right to left. It's going to be a 1-hour game, and we are underway. First up, move by Owen Schimple. They already have an overlap set up if they just release the pass. Pass doesn't get out wide enough. Miguel Palgi marking outside wing for Ontario on this side. Advantage coming, says Rose Lebrecht. That's second row, Carl Madison. And he's gone a good 10 meters now. Finally brings the ball to ground. Robinson, spin pass, miss out to the trailing prop and out to fly half, Nicky Moray. And now a whistle will stop it. So pretty good series of phases here for BC2 to open this game. And they've gotten into Ontario half. Conditions just spectacular here. Another sunny day. No complaints about the weather here in southern Alberta. Calgary has put on a show for us in terms of nice weather. Probably about 21 degrees, almost no wind to speak of. Dad of Jonas Robinson is in the stands, taking this game in. Our man Spencer Robinson, who we work with at the America's Rugby Championship, is an announcer, and the University Sevens. I don't think it would be fair to ask him to come in and call his own son's game. That would be a little too fraught with tension. Pardon me for coughing there, folks. Now getting down the blind side for a couple of steps. Ontario trying to get to that ball, but BC there first. Quick offload. That's to Madison again. Carl Madison, just a human pounding block there. Ball's gone to ground, but it went back. This is a chance. This will be a try for the fullback, Brandon Schellenberger. He had his hand up, his left hand up in the air as he was crossing, because he knew he had gotten the first score for his team to get BC2 on the board. So good bit of patient work Ontario was setting up defensively quite well, but then BC went quick hands down the line, found the overlap, and Schellenberger just crashed through the gap. Great to have so many of you watching this morning here across the country. Got a lot of Ontario fans, a lot of BC fans watching as the conversion goes up. It is 7-0 for BC2. So the winner of this will take third place in the U16 men's division. Been very entertaining watching these young men, and you know, every team has got one or two guys who go, I think we'll see him in a Canada jersey someday, whether it's, you know, in a sevens jersey or 15s jersey at the under 20 level, at the senior men's level. There's a lot of promise in this country for this sport. Oh, and that's just a beautiful touch finder by Dave Crisp, the assistant referee. Gets that right up to the middle. No ball kids today, running a little low on volunteers. I think everyone's exhausted after a week of running around, and only 4 games on today, so running on the lean crew. Rose Lebrecht getting rewired a couple of times, having problems with her radio, I think. So they may have to rely on sign language. Owen Schimple will restart this for Ontario. Oh, that's a high restart. Ontario players trying to get to it. It bounces. BC doesn't secure it now. Spencer Cooper's gotten to it. Oh, drop ball. So big mistake there, and Ontario will lap that up greedily as they're just outside the 22 of BC on the left side of the pitch. So that gives them wide open space for a good passing lane to the right. Trying to steady that scrum now. The front rows together. Matt Yee, the scrum half for Ontario. He gets it in. It's going to be, I thought maybe Owen Rattan do something there. Now, finding a half break. Staying on his feet. Now he's brought down as that ball spilled forward. No, it stays back Ontario's side. Yee going left. And now miscue. Jeremy Gam couldn't find the handle, but it stays in Ontario hands. 5 meters out. We're building up the pressure now. Owen Rattan playing at 6 instead of 8. And now into touch over on that far sideline. So BC buying themselves a bit of relief there, but they're going to have to be very accurate on the line out. So can Jeremy Gam pinch this ball at the line out and give his team an opportunity on offense here in close? And that's a bullet from Callum Masterton to Jonas Robinson. And good little clearance kick down the field. Buys them about another 10, 12 yards, meters rather. And that's welcome space when they're so close into the line. See, Dad Spencer Robinson is picking up something and talking to the BC coaches, and he can't help but offer up some advice as Ontario spills that ball forward. So that's the dad of Jonas Robinson, maybe just passing on a little note that he picked up in the early going here to see if can improve BC's fortunes. We'll see what happens as now the message is getting passed along. So interesting stuff as Jonas, the scrum half for BC2, gets that ball in. Spencer, quite a sevens player for Canada in his day, and just superb guy. Love hanging out with Spencer whenever we're out in Victoria. Great guy to work with on air. Robinson not happy with the way it's going, and now Rose Lebrecht agrees. Ontario cutting in, boring in at the scrum, and it's an indirect penalty, so he can't kick that, so better tap it. He can kick it, but he'd lose possession. So keeping the ball in hand makes more sense as they dump it off to Carter White. They go for a few steps. Robinson looking for that ball like an Easter egg hunt. He finds it. Ball goes back, and that is Carl Madison now into the line. Miscue, but falls right into Nicky Moray's hands, so that worked out well. And now he's past the gain line, and now it's going to be pick and drive. Oh, Robinson was looking for it. Now coming back for a penalty for offside against Ontario. So they'll go across the pitch by about 15, 20 meters. And Lebrecht saying, hey, let's not have too many more conversations about this because you won't like how my conversations end. It's like arguing with your mom. You're never going to come out on top. John Jubenville with the right. Oh, thank you very much. And that went back about 2 or 3 meters. So he'll have a moment to reflect on what happened there. But no real harm there. They retained possession on the line out, but didn't pick up a whole lot of extra meters that they were hoping for, perhaps. It's a getaway day here for a lot of the players and referees. So the games will be finished by about 2 at the latest, and everyone racing out to the airport. So Calgary Airport, a place to avoid around 3:30 this afternoon. It's going to be filled with about 1,000 kids trying to go home. And that wasn't straight to Callum Masterton. It's a good jump, though. Looked nice. But they're going to have Ontario taking the scrum in 15. Jonas Robinson trying to fire up his troops there. Blue number 9. Clapping. He's a very positive fellow. Spent some time with his family a few years ago on Upper Vancouver Island. Now, oh, that's a nice fend off, but a great tackle from Nicky Moray to put that Ontario player to ground. It's a 10-on-10 tackle. And now coming down the wing to Miguel Palgi. And he makes it. Doesn't go into touch. It was a great cover tackle effort, but Miguel Palgi just beat the cover by a step or two and touches down in the corner to give Ontario their first points of the morning. So very simple, basic stuff by Ontario, but getting it out to the wing, the key to all that, and then just stepping on the gas by Palgi. Avery Ordeman, we've seen him kick a lot this week. He's a very good kicker. And he's the fullback for Ontario and a very fast runner, too. That ball just off the post there. So targeting not bad, but needed that maybe about 10 feet higher and foot to the right, and he would have had himself an extra 2 points. So there is BC with a narrow 7-5 lead over Ontario. 12 minutes gone in this opening 30-minute period. That's a good restart. No, it isn't. Take that back. Out on the full, nearly taking out Dave Crisp there. So they'll have it back at center. It'll be scrum to Ontario.
Come on, Blue, here we go.
That ball shot out. Matt Yees covered it nicely. Oh, and look at that coming in at pace. The inside center, Ethan Hager. He has scored 7 tries through this tournament so far, and he had a hat trick in about 4 minutes in an opening match against, I think that was New Brunswick in that game. Had 4 tries in that game, some kicks, but 3 tries inside of 4 minutes. And Gareth Reese and I were doing that game. We were trying to figure out if that maybe was a new record. No, those kind of records not really kept by the National Festival in terms of record setting within a game, that type of thing. So we're going to give it to him on the assumption that no one else has done that quite so spectacularly. So we got an Ontario player down, and it's one of the backs, I think. Maybe Josh Ince. So some famous former rugby dads providing some of the players here on this BC team. When we look at someone like Nate Bice, his dad Richard, a great prop for Canada back in the 90s. Jonas Robinson, we already talked about his dad playing a lot of rugby as well for Canada. And then on the bench, we got Braden Tate, Doug Tate, former Sevens coach for Canada and the stalwart for the University of Victoria Vikes program. So maybe not quite national tie-in in terms of playing, but brilliant coach. And so that's pretty nice to see. So the Ontario player will stay in. I believe it's Ethan Hager that, yeah, it was Ethan Hager. As we were talking about all the tries he scored, and he had to go down. And so we have Rose Lebrecht providing instructions to Jonas Robinson. Get that ball in now. And that was a hand. That was a hand keeping that. And that's going to be a penalty. And that was picked up by Crisp. It happened right in front of Crisp. The flanker tapping that ball in. And Crisp had no choice. I mean, it was a blatant right in front of him. So that'll find touchdown inside the 22-meter line. And that's a great start for them down inside the BC half. There's Jonas's uncle Gareth watching the game as well. That's a steal at the line out. Kobe Welch threw it in, but it was blocked by the first jumper, Masterson. They're trying to buy a little extra space before maybe doing a clearance kick. Carter White taking it up. And now the number 8, Reese Daniels, going up a meter. Oh, and that's some good cover tackling back on Carter White. They just drove him straight back, and now they've decided we've had enough of that. Robinson gets it out to Moray. Moray's put it straight up the middle. Oideman challenges and takes it very well. Frontal attack there. He's tackled immediately but secures the ball, and now that's Hager to Rutan, who is linked up out wide. And into touch. Oh, and Ontario thought they were in with a chance. But not enough room on that far sideline. So National Festival Rugby, start of a big journey for a lot of young athletes. This is where they get discovered by Canadian team selectors. This is where they start getting pulled into a higher level of training and maybe getting discovered that they've got a little bit of that X factor that Canada may need some point. And that went off Callum Masterton's hands there and onto the Ontario side from the line-out. BC line-out looking good in terms of the lift and the throw and everything, but Ontario getting a bit lucky there on the transfer, falling into Ontario hands. Meter inside the 22, and now just a simple pick and drive.
Oh, one hopper. That's all right. Handled easily by Owen Schimple. Very impressive fly half through this week. Hager now. He holds on to it now. Distribution down the line to Oideman. Oideman staying on his feet. He's got support in Miguel Palgi and Hager. And now the forward's slow to arrive. And a little bit of a mismatch. And Oideman getting mugged there a little bit. Ball still on Ontario's side. Yee now getting it out back up to Schimple. And this is Rutan playing from the flanker spot. The other flanker, Jack McRogers of Newmarket, getting that ball down the line. I think that's Tate Ruse on that far wing. He does well to get it within 5 meters. Hager now. They've got and the overlap is denied with the drop ball off the fingertips. That was Josh Ince, I think, that dropped that one, and he'll be frustrated. Oh, and there's Doug Tate coming to see his son, Braden, play as well. So good to see some of the dads in attendance here. Pick from the back of that side of that scrum by number 8, Reese Daniels. It's got a good 6-7 meters. Ontario scrambling to get back and get ready for the next wave. He scrum to BC. Oh. Jonas Robinson limping pretty noticeably, and he may need to have that looked at. And he's been knocked around pretty good at times this week. He's a small, wiry guy, and he can take a lot of abuse, I think. But, boy, you don't want your scrum half playing on one leg. That'll kind of put you behind the 8 ball. That hasn't wheeled, but it has gone back nearly the meter allowance. Now they get it out to Moray. Good cut through from the fullback. Brandon Schellenberger coming into the line as an extra attacker on the sort of switch move there. Carl Madison now. He gets some help from a couple of friends, pushing him forward. Moray again. He was impressive coming on in a replacement role in a big blowout win against New Brunswick. And, he's a very handy passer. He's got some pace. Good kicker. He's got a lot of the tools. Oh, and that's a good run. Matt Francoeur. He's gone 25. And now taking on the fullback from Ontario, Avery Oideman. And I would say that Francoeur won that battle at over halfway, 10 meters into Ontario half. Remember, just 2 points in this game at this point. Carter White now. Next touch up. Nate Bice. He's had some big runs this week, but not that one. Now Ontario driving BC back. This is BC sealing that ball off. Can't see LaBreche. Oh, there she is right in front of me. I've seen that much rugby. I think my eyes are starting to go bleary. And that ball's out. That's to Bice again. Now this is more like it for Bice. Cutting back inside. He manages to find the offload, and it doesn't find a target, however. Just off the fingers of Carter White. But good work by the flanker from British Columbia, going down that right wing and going good 20, 25 meters before meeting resistance. So, what does BC have on offer here in terms of pressuring Ontario inside their own half? So BC will have to retreat 10 meters. They were not coming into the front row properly. Yee. First up by Owen Schimple. Spilled ball, kicked by Hager, trying to make something happen. And what he's done is effectively passed to his own player and then gotten knocked into touch. So, if I was coach, I'd say you get one of those a year, but try not to make a habit of it. Ontario matching up numbers, dropping one runner off there, one forward off there. Oh, and a big jump by both front rows, and that goes to Ontario ultimately on the overthrow by British Columbia. Yee quick to the breakdown. Oideman now goes a few meters. Now he's into touch. What I like that about him as a fullback, he doesn't mind getting into gritty situations. He had a couple of BC tacklers coming at him, and he stayed on his feet. He could have just stepped in and touched and goes, we can get a couple more here, and put his shoulder down and does not shrink away from the contact. Carter White doing the throwing in for BC here in front of our position. And that goes to a second receiver in the line out after going off the hands of Carl Madison. Gets to, I think it was Frank Coeur back there. And now, look at the counter at the breakdown there by Ontario, just driving Carter White back. Oh, and spilled ball by Robinson, went back, penalty coming. I think advantage being played for BC. Now, Rafael Espejo. He's gotten a 10-meter line from center. And now there's a half break by John Jubenville. Now advantage being played on the knock-on. Crowd baying for an offside, but not getting it from the referee. Four minutes, 3.5 minutes left in this first half, and frankly surprised that only 2 tries in this game so far. One from Ontario, no conversion, and the other from the Bears. Robinson to get it in, and the clean take by number 8, Reese Daniels. Finding the winger on that side, but the targeting not specific. Connor Clark knocking that one on. Wasn't the greatest of passes, so we can't lay that on him. And so take a scrum over on that side. Ontario will put it in. He's getting that back foot there. His targeting is just a bit off. Schimple having to reach down for that pass. Now that's Hager. Big try score for Ontario. That ball's come out, but not without a bit of help from BC maybe pouring in offside. No call coming. Jonas Robinson digging that out, getting it to Carter White. Spilled ball again. Now that's a flat pass argument made for forward there. Bit of isolation here for the Ontario ball carrier. Help arriving with Kobe Welch and Jack McRogers trying to keep that ball in play to no avail. That was the winger, Miguel Palgi, that got wrapped up there. So good on Ontario showing their intent to keep that ball in play. We don't want to just go and touch and give away the possession there. So really last possession here probably for BC before halftime. Inside Ontario's half, can they organize another drive to the line here? Carter White with the throw. Robinson, clean transfer, and those guys were pouring in offside. Had to have been McRogers, especially there wrapping up the BC player. And I mean, I've seen McRogers, he's quick, but he's not lightning quick like that. And now a big pounding run from Nate Bice, the offload. Sorry, that's Bice going down the touchline there. That was the hooker Rafael Spejo that got hit as he passed. And he's slow to get up. Physio ran out. Service is not needed. Matt Yee puts the ball in. It's come out the other side. Stolen against the head. Robinson to Morey. Down the line. Jubenville's gotten it out wide now to the wing on the far side. Connor Clark. And they're slinging it around like it's a sevens game out there. BC trying to keep it alive. It is still BC ball. They've got no attack whatsoever organized, and Ontario will just absorb all that pressure unless they get wider. Nicky Murray tackled immediately. And now the backs for BC slowly drifting out. That ball's gone to ground, and that'll probably do it for halftime. 30 minutes gone. The knock on both ways, and Rose LeBreche will have another scrum here. Picked by the number 8, Reese Daniels. Ontario's stolen that. BC making the tackles they have to make, and now kicking that ball down the line is not going to help anyone, but penalty was coming, and so Ontario seeing maybe something was on down that wing, but it wasn't. Drop ball by Oideman. Now, that's not over. He kind of gave up on it. But now here's a chance, and it's going to be a try for John Jubenville. And, you know, I think Oideman kind of expected he'd get the knock-on call there, but advantage being played on that drop ball. I don't even know, actually, if there's advantage. Didn't notice it, but BC just kept playing the ball, and Ontario let that one slip by. Bit of a mistake there by Oideman and his support cast to let that ball just go unattended. So that gets BC up to 12 points right before halftime. I feel like I was told they were 30-minute halves. Maybe it's a 70-minute third, fourth game here. We were going to 35 minutes here, but Moray's going to take this kick. I think it's within his wheelhouse.
The assistant referee's checking air watch. I think they feel like the half is getting a little moldy. Morey on his approach. Oh, and he struck that to the right. So it'll stay 12-5. And that is halftime. So BC in the driver's seat with a 2-1 try lead here. 12-5. And we're going to take a quick break here and bring you more National Festival Rugby action in just a few minutes. Second half coming up between BC and Ontario. So ready to get back underway here at Calgary Rugby Park. BC 2 leading Ontario 12-5. Second 30-minute period to go here. And just great having a little catch-up with Spencer Robinson at halftime. And he said, well, if Jonas comes off, maybe I'll come over and I'll commentate the second half. But I'm too nervous. Can't do it right now when my son's on the field. I think it'll be John Jubenville to restart this for BC. That'll go about 15 meters deep from the center position. Ontario still in this in a big way. They're only down a try and a conversion. have the Ontario coaches made the tactical adjustments, perhaps, getting their guys in for a little quick meet-up and figure some things out, like how to involve the back row a bit more, like Mick Rogers and Rutan. Rutan's had a very quiet game at number 6. I think he's more effective as a number 8, honestly. Yee now going to his right, linking up with Will Chandler, the prop. And now that's a kick over the top, and that's interesting. No one back there in Ontario challenging deep, and that is going to be trouble time here unless they can get the kick away. And that wasn't a pretty kick at all. It finds touch, but Ontario happy with that. They net up with about a 40-meter gain from their previous position. Kobe Welch has the honors for Ontario here. Extra attackers in the line. The two flankers, McRogers and Rattan, will slot in between the centers, but no chance of an attack there as the ball went askew. Dad Spencer can't help himself yelling instructions in, but good points for his son. And now penalty against BC, offside. So they'll retrace their steps back 10 meters. And now they're thinking going for goal, and that's not a bad thought because this is a pretty tight game. So is Oideman going to come up? Yeah, Oideman's going to go take a shot for goal. That would make it 12-8 and maybe set the platform for a comeback, because then if you score an unconverted try, you're in a good spot there. You've bought back the 2 points you missed on your initial try. And so mature thinking by Ontario. Based on the kicking we've seen by Oideman so far in this tournament, this is well within his range and well within his abilities. Takes about 4 steps stride, and he's pushed it wide again. And so plenty of distance, but targeting just off by a touch. Uncharacteristic based on what we've seen Oideman do earlier. And now BC trying to catch Ontario napping, but they are just resting their eyes. It wasn't a full nap. And managed to get that restart, snuck through and into touch. And so now Ontario will have the line out. Yee knows it wasn't straight, but tried to give it a whirl anyway. Someone's got the bagpipes going off in the distance. Not sure that's always a popular choice early on a Sunday morning, but probably fits in around here. Jonas Robinson waiting for that ball to come back, and now the pick from the back of the scrum by Reese Daniels. And another penalty against BC, not releasing the tackle player. Yee, quick tap, looking for help. Now he's wrapped up. Couldn't make that pass happen in time. It was Chandler taking it into contact. And now the second row, Aiden Foley shoulders his way through. And that was Hager that got cut down. That ball's gone loose, but picked up again by Ontario. And now that's some fancy running. And the cutout pass falls to ground. And now a penalty. And what is this going to be for? And is
Rose Lebrecht nearly at her limit with the penalties piling up on BC. Offside again. Now this is a little closer to goal than before, but their thinking has changed as Oidemann's targeting is off, and Schimpel will kick that down in the corner and set up an opportunity here for a driving maul as we have number 17, Andrew Maltman, coming on to the field to go in at the front row. Maltman, he is a very mobile front rower and offers up a lot of smash and bash as he replaces Colton Bates. So that is a good substitution for Ontario, I think, as they need a little oomph into their scrum. Welch finds his first jumper target. Hayden Foley. Sorry, that was Gam that took that one. Yee misses out on the early replacement. Now that's nearly picked off BC hands and into Connor Arnsby's hands. I didn't see Arnsby come on the field wearing number 24, so that must have been a halftime substitution. So a little rub of the green on Ontario's side there as a BC hand got to it, but the tipped forward ball immediately fell into Arnsby's hands as we have number 16, Graham Francolini, coming on now. And likely that'll be Kobe Welch coming off or Will Chandler coming off. I want to say that's Chandler making the move. Final game for Ontario this year, so I think coach making sure that all the changes everyone's getting a chance here. That is Welch that did come off the field, the hooker. And so the scrum may be a little stiffer, a little different for Ontario here as they're set up directly in front of the posts, 16 meters from the line. Backs are split nicely. We've got Schimpel partnering with Palgi on one side, and then the dangerous Ethan Hager, Josh Ince, and Tate Ruse out to far side, and Oidemann can slot in either side depending on the call they've got. They're going to go reasonably blindside, I guess you'd call it. Oh, and that's Ruse on this side. Apologies, that was Ruse all the way along. So very simple stuff. They had the back line split, went left, and quick pass from Schimpel to Ruse, and that was all she wrote. So nice try by Ontario to get themselves back in this game. At 12-10 with the conversion kick to come. Wait a minute, a lone challenger coming. He's going to hurry his approach up. And he gets that kick across. We're tied up at 12 here, folks, and this should make for an interesting final 22 minutes here at Calgary Rugby Park. All to play for as these two teams battling out for third place in the country. A restart going to the middle of the Ontario loose forwards. He immediately distributing the ball to his left. That one is to Arnsby. Rutan has secured that. Been waiting to see more from Rutan. He may not be 100% as the link up goes to ground. Will Chandler doing some hard work in there for Ontario. Yee back to his left. They've got numbers out wide. Oideman steps inside one tackler. Now he's wrapped up by 3-4 BC tacklers. Will he be sealed off? He's managed to get that ball back. Yee calling for some help. Box kick over the top. He wanted some chase, and he has got some chase. 3 BC players there. One will get it, and that'll be Brandon Schellenberger. But still not enough blue shirts there to secure that ball. Ontario there in numbers as well. And so probably we'll get a response of another kick. This one from BC. Jonas Robinson maybe kicking it over the top. So now Oideman. Oh, he's let that bounce, and he's under pressure, and he's eating up some of his own yards and trying to throw some dummy passes. No one, but he's managed to wiggle his way out of trouble here and doing a great job. And Oideman still on his feet. One to beat, but now he's gone to ground, finds the offload. Ball to ground again. Went back and picked up by BC. So some frantic stuff here by Ontario. And now the whistle from the knock-on. Two more changes coming on for Ontario. Matt Spanton and Matt Tedford coming on. The Matts making an appearance here. Matt Spanton wearing 18 and Matt Tedford wearing 20. Matt's dad, Brian, former Canadian team player and announcer on TSN whenever Canada's involved in rugby on TSN, as our Canadian women have been doing. He's been doing studio shows there. Exciting times for Canadian rugby at the Women's World Cup as they tied England yesterday 13-13 to get themselves into the semifinals. Now Rose Lebreche calling the captains, the 2 scrum halves, who are both the captains, out for a little discussion, and maybe she's just seeing a little too much scrappiness around the edges or just too many infringements around the edges, and she doesn't want to send people to the bin in a 3rd, 4th playoff game here on the final day. So the Jonas Robinson holding a board meeting here, bringing everyone in. So Jack McRogers coming off the field for his final appearance here for this Ontario under-16 team, and that's number 5, Jeremy Gam, the 2nd row. So great to see McRogers have another big year in an Ontario jersey from Newmarket, Ontario. Classmate of our cameraman, Matt Cross. So he's been interested in seeing how his pal from school's doing. Now time off. No, I thought she'd blown the whistle a couple of times for time off, but trouble at the scrum from BC, and now free tap and Andrew Wilson getting in there. Bouncing off one. And this is what we're talking about from Maltman. The kind of running you get from him as a prop is just electric. So Ontario now inside the 22. Advantage coming to Ontario. Coming in from the side, I think, will be the call. She's still playing advantage. Advantage not over just yet. Maybe another couple of steps and it will be. Yee. Miscue goes to ground, and now Lebreche will bring it back. And now time off, and there could be a yellow card here against BC. Jonas Robinson coming out to see what's what after she had just had a conversation with him. Now everyone's safe for now. Looked like the wing, Seth Purdy, was getting called out. Not rolling away at the ruck in Ontario. They could take a kick at goal here and break this 12-12 draw, but they want to score tries. They want to do it straight up. They've got the time. No need to panic just yet, so maybe a good call here by Ontario. Now jamming into the line, that's 24 Connor Arnsby. Arnsby again. He's isolated. And now coming back for another penalty. And now time off. And this will be a sin bin, I think. She going to her pocket. And that is a yellow card. And who will go? Who will go? And that's going to be Carter White for BC. And he trots off over the dead ball line. And now BC in a real jackpot here. Down a player, and Ontario threatening at the line. That's Rattan. He's lost it, knocked it on in goal. So it'll be a scrum 5. BC put in. So Carter White, come grab a chair. He's had a bit of a rough and tumble game there. He's got some gauze up his nose to sop up some blood. And now he'll stay out of the sun here. 45 minutes gone in the 60-minute game. 15 to play to decide who will be third place in the country. Got a great game going on behind us. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick tied at 19. And I think this is U16. It might be U18. I have to check that. So pressure time here for BC. They got to get this ball cleanly back, and now a penalty. What's happened there? Pulling the scrum down. So Ontario goes back 10 meters. Moray will get the kick to touch here down that left touch line. So it gets outside their 22. That's helpful. That's 19 coming back into the line for Ontario, Jake London. And clean take by Callum Masterton of BC. Knock on by BC, however, on the transfer from the line. Now 18 coming on the field, Braden Tate. Doug Tate's son is in the crowd to our left here. Don't know that he realizes his son's just run on, but he will replace the inside center, John Jubenville. See what Braden Tate can do. He was pretty handy at fly half the other day at times. Now, one thing I'm not sure about is if we're at 12-12 at full time, if they'll play extra time. Everyone's on a pretty tight schedule, so maybe it'll go points for and against in the tournament or how they went head-to-head or something like that. I'm not sure. Now, quick hands. That might release BC down the line. Good cover tackle coming across from Andrew Wilson. Yee waiting for a stable platform. He's put that in. Don't forget, BC's had to match, or Ontario's had to match up. So Rutan in midfield. Now this is a big run from the usually number 8. And now he's managed to offload 5 meters out. So Rutan, the extra attacker in there, because they had to match up the numbers for the yellow card on Carter White. Ontario backs just screaming for the ball. They realize there's 11 of them out there. And now cutting back inside is number 19, Jake London. And was that held up? I guess it was, and it'll be a scrum to Ontario. So frustration by London as he had crossed over, but was just held up by BC hand. Oh, it's getting toasty out here in the sun. Very beautiful Sunday morning here. Yee. Down the line, Rattan can't find the handle. Manages to come back Ontario's side. No knock on, says Lebreche, or no forward or anything like that. Now Yee coming back the other way. BC driving Ontario back now. And that's a knock-on, I think, over the line. Lebreche looking for some advice on that far touchline from Crisp. Knock on. So twice now. Twice Ontario's crossed the line. Twice denied. One by a BC hand and then by their own hand by dropping it. And so frustration mounting. This Ontario team with a man advantage. They haven't been able to pull the trigger on a score here. And probably down to about 3 or 4 minutes left in the sin bin. 5 minutes from the sin bin, yeah. Now a penalty, I think maybe for too much back chat, yeah, from Ontario. I think they're chirping a little too much. And so they've talked their way out of a scoring opportunity. It was going to be a scrum to BC, and they would have still been able to pressure them. But now they're playing just inside the 22 with the line out, as we have number 16, Dylan Cusker, coming on for BC. He'll replace Rafael Espejo, the hooker. Warm round of applause. Everyone obviously likes Rafael Espejo, including the coach, giving him a big slam, and he waves and smiles. Obviously a bright light on that BC team, and well taken by Nate Bice at the back of that line, but not cleanly in terms of targeting, says Rose Lebreche. So they'll bring it in 15. So now opportunity back to Ontario here, 16 meters out from the line. More changes coming for BC. And now we're going to have 22, Ryan Hanley, coming on for Seth Purdy, the winger. Number 14 on the BC team, Seth Purdy, will be coming off. And Yee got his pass interrupted. And now there's a gap as the flatline defense by BC, not so flat. And now drop ball and going back the other way. Quick offload. Ontario bringing down winger Connor Clark rather brusquely. And now that's Carl Madison driving into the line. Advantage coming to BC now as well. So they got a free one. Jonas Robinson, Connor Clark again, and now down the wing and a foot into touch. And I don't know how that was missed. The fullback, Brandon Schellenberger, clearly put his foot on the line. So the advantage is over for BC. Now, Jonas Robinson, Nicky Moray, and he is upended as he makes that pass to Braden Tate. Ontario interested in staying on side. They don't want to get in card trouble like BC has. Matt Francoeur is brought down. Robinson looking to his right. Not many options. Goes back to Moray. That's Tate. He goes a half step before going to ground, and now a penalty. Not releasing the tackled player. Well, that was quick, and everyone's saying points, take points, and that's the indication Spencer Cooper's giving that we're running out of time here. 6 minutes left, and this may be their only chance to break this deadlock. And so a wise decision by BC. When you get a gift like that, no one will remember how you won it, whether it was with a try or a penalty kick, as we now have the switch of Ryan Hanley
with Seth Purdy. So it'll be Moray, and he can easily stroke this from this distance. He is a pretty sharp kicker. Spencer Robinson just jumping down and barking instructions to the team, not even to his own son, but he's just spotting, they've got a cover on these potential wide shots. Oh, and off the post, and it's gone off the post. That's a live ball, but now what's happened here? Movement by the Ontario player, huh? So there was movement by, it looks like Owen Rattan is the culprit, and so they'll get a second shot at goal. You can't move until the ball has been kicked, and so it was Rattan possibly just rattling the kicker, Moray, prior to him stroking the ball. I was so fixated on Moray's shot that I didn't see any movement, but not often you get a mulligan at a penalty kick here, and that's exactly what Moray's gotten. That one bouncing off the left post. Will he do better this time? And he won't. And so a missed shot there, and so we're still tied at 12 and 56 minutes left. Or not 56 minutes left, 4 minutes left. The restart by Ontario from the 22-meter dropout. That'll be taken by Connor Clark. Bobbles it a bit, and now he spins it wide. He's hit pretty late there by Connor Arnsby. Even now, the knock-on and a penalty. No, that's just the knock-on. So Moray, 2 shots at goal, can't pull the trigger, and now on comes Will Chandler, Carter White from the yellow card being completed. And they had a front row replacement on, Carter was there, so Madison has come off the second row, and they need one more player on. They're still shorthanded. They didn't quite do the player personnel change as accurately as they wanted. So now we're going to get 25. Connor McGarry on there, and their numbers will be even. So BC surviving unscathed through that Carter White sin bin. Now under 3 minutes to go here. And Ontario will be looking to probably put some high ball and put some pressure in behind the 22 on BC and see if they can draw a penalty and win this one. And that's Rattan playing at the number 8 spot now. And that one-handed no-look pass. And that could be a penalty. Interference on the player without the ball. And that's been picked up by the assistant referee on that side. And, the actual call is crossing. But the Ontario player interfering with the BC player chasing the ball just collared him and prevented him from getting at it. And out of kicking range here for BC. Braden Tate will give this a left-footed kick down the touchline, and this puts them in an attractive spot. Now this is where Ontario's got to be so careful. They cannot give a penalty away in the dying minute and a half of this game and just hand this off to BC. And that's exactly what BC is going to try and put them in a situation of a ruck or a maul where there's going to be some sort of a giveaway. They're going to be desperate and make a mistake. So now, here's a chance. Moray. This is exactly where Ontario's got to be careful. Al Rattan trying to bring that BC ball carrier down.
Jonas Robinson digging for that ball. Goes to the left. Dylan Cusker. One step before he's brought down. Now stolen by Ontario. As we're nearly at 60 minutes here. Overlap. 3-man overlap, and they've just got to pass a couple of more. Owen, and that's Oideman. He steps back inside. Oh, and he's right into Lebreche. And now Lebreche will blow the whistle as she was used as an inadvertent blocker, and it'll be a scrum to Ontario as she all of a sudden got in the line of fire there. And we are 22 seconds into extra time here, and this is really Ontario's last chance here. So the next stoppage could be the end of this game, and like I said, we're not clear on what the format is here on the fourth game, should we be tied at end of regulation. And we'll probably have to make a quick call on our radio to get clarification. Connor Arnsby linking up with Andrew Wilson. Wilson nearly slips a tackle. BC fighting hard to get that ball back. Stays Ontario side. Yee feigns a pass to the left. Now he offloads to Rattan. Got to be careful not to get isolated and have to give that ball up. Yee gets it back. Ontario have got numbers again out wide. They've got to get a couple more passes and they'll be free. Oh, and that's good, interesting choice by Spanton. Now they've going left. One more pass. It'll be Oideman at the corner. He'll score. And at the death, it is fullback Avery Oideman as the hero for this Ontario team. They can't believe that they've managed to break this tie with no time left. That clock is absolutely empty now, so no chance for a kickoff or anything. And BC cannot believe this has happened to them. 12-12 at the death, and Avery Oideman sprints down that left wing and beats the cover tackle for the win. He'll still take the kick at posts here. He'll miss the conversion, but that will be full time. And Ontario coming away with not a come from behind, but beating the draw 17-12 to take third place. So congratulations to both teams for a great game played, and to Ontario for coming out on top in the dying seconds of this game, showing no quit. So we're going to take a break here, folks, and we're going to reset and back with more action coming up in just a few minutes.